It's homecoming, Terps. University of Maryland. Terpsville. Flex on Families homecoming weekend in College Park. It's actually homecoming weekend in a lot of the DC surrounding areas. You got Howard University. You have Bowie State University and Maryland, University of Maryland College Park, all celebrating homecoming this weekend. So if you're out there, pack your patience. Be prepared for a lot of stop and go traffic. Watch out for pedestrians. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. And be careful. Be safe. If you can, take an Uber, take a Lyft, walk, take public transportation, metro, whatever you got to do to get around. It's going to be hectic down there. And I'll be staying my ass right here at the home base watching the game. It is at 4 p.m. on FS1. We made the announcement last week. I actually gave you guys my post-game thoughts immediately after that debacle last Friday against Northwestern. Second straight year, Terps wet the bed against Northwestern, wet the bed on Friday Night Lights. Fans were leaving out by the end of the third quarter. The team seemed like they gave up by the end of the third quarter. And this is really a circle the wagons game, because if you can't show up and win this game, are you going to win another game? We posed that question last week in the post-game show. You hear the Red Skies in the background, the official national anthem of the SOT, same old Terps. Does Mike Locksley need to be let go of his duties? I say let it play out this season. Let's see what he does, and let's see what he does next year, because he has a lot of his guys, most importantly the quarterback, coming in, but they got to fix this offensive line. And honestly speaking, I learned this week, Mike Locksley is winless off of 5 weeks. So the week where you're supposed to come back refreshed, playing better, have energy, be more disciplined, have pep in your step. He actually took over play calling duty, admitted it, surprisingly to a lot of people. You lose to a team that plays in the soccer stadium. You lose to a team who was about to get rid of the football team entirely. And this week they have USC coming for homecoming. USC does have alumni chapters in DC, some parts of Maryland, Virginia. So there will be some USC fans here. They're 40% off tickets. I believe buy one, get one free, 2 for 1, whatever you want to call it. So I think a lot of secondary markets, you'll see more USC fans probably than Maryland fans. It might be more 50-50 maybe because of the student section, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 55-45, 60-40 USC by the end of the game. USC, they did start 2-0. Let's not forget they beat LSU. Now ranked number 13 was LSU. They beat them in week 1. So they beat LSU. They lost the heartbreaker last week to Penn State in overtime, a game they could have won. Lost on the road to Minnesota, which you know, by 7. Beat Wisconsin 38-21. Lost to Michigan by a field goal, 27-24. So really, with the big boys, the defending national champions, Michigan, obviously not the same team, but lost by 3 on the road. Penn State at home, lost by 3. Penn State looks really, really good. Maryland has to see them in a couple weeks to end the season. They're 3-3, 1-3. A lot of heat on Lincoln Riley out there. And I love Lincoln Riley. Shoot, you guys don't want to treat Lincoln Riley right out there in Southern California. Y'all want to get rid of him and be goofy? Maryland, Damon Evans, Kevin Plank, Scott Van Pelt, myself, we will put up the bill to get Lincoln Riley. I will pay to get Lincoln Riley to College Park and him to be the next football coach of the Maryland Terps. That's what they want to do in USC land. Now, that's speculation and rumor. I don't think he's going anywhere. But I would love to have a guy like Lincoln Riley running this team, running this offense, running and developing an offense for a Malik Washington and other pieces that he could bring in, I'm sure, through the portal with NIL dollars, with recruiting. Just putting it out there. Just saying, I like Locksley. I don't want him to go. I think he deserves another year after this year with his guys to see what he can be. Obviously, the schedule will be tougher next year. He'll lose some pieces. It looks like he'll probably lose more pieces as they always do, but they will regroup. He does decent in recruiting. But Maryland has the advantage. USC is coming west to east, so 3 hours difference, time difference, but the game's at 4, so it's really the normal time they play, which is 1 p.m. So I could see if this game was at 12, then that's a 9 a.m. start, or 1, that's a 10 a.m. start. But it's normal time. And like I said, I think there are going to be USC fans. I think Miller Moss is someone that maybe he might be the best quarterback the Terps have played so far. I like Miller Moss. He has some potential. But like I said, he may be the best quarterback they played so far. I know the Indiana quarterback is playing well, but Maryland got to him, and they got him to turn the ball over. But nevertheless, we'll see what happens. USC, as I mentioned, started out 2-0, but have lost 3 of their last 4. They're 1-3 in the Big Ten and 3-3 overall. 0-2 on the road, Michigan and Minnesota. Maryland's 0-3 in the Big Ten. We know they're 3-3 overall. Lost to Michigan State, Indiana, and Northwestern. Maryland has lost, 2 in a row? and look to get off the schneid. Now, the over-under is set at 57 points. USC is favored yet again. They are favored by 7.5, so 8 points. I could see them covering that personally. I know there are some pundits, some analysts, some guys in the local area who actually think Maryland's going to rise up and win and do the damn thing in homecoming and circle the wagons. I don't see it happening. Until they do it, I don't believe them. Moss, he could be a problem because he can make all the throws, I think, in my opinion. I think, what is it? Willie Marks, the running back, he's big time. He has 597 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he could be someone to look out for. And they're coached by Lincoln Riley. Is one thing that USC can do is score the football. They can score. Their problem has always been defense. Moss is a junior, so he still has 1 more year of eligibility. But this team can score. I'm not worried about USC's offense. They can score. I don't know if Maryland's going to be able to stop them, especially on the back end, and especially when they don't get any pressure. Over under 56.5. I could see USC putting up 35 on their own. So I may take the over. I may take USC to cover if you're going to do it from a betting perspective. But if you see some of the standouts as mentioned, we know Billy Edwards with 1740 actually has more yards and the same amount of touchdowns as Moss, only 3 picks. So he's playing damn good football. Okay, we got to give Billy Edwards a lot of credit. He's upped his game as well. Hemby, 74 carries, 360 yards. Hudson. USC's receivers and skill players aren't as good as they've been, but one thing about USC, they got speed. And I think it's going to be very, very important as I get to some of the keys to the game. I think, first and foremost, Maryland has to start fast. You can't let USC come in here, go down the field if they get the ball, score, take it down the field, 7, 8, 9 plays, or a big-time 40-yard bomb over your head. You're down 17-0 at the end of the first quarter because then guys are really going to pack it in. Guys are really going to be quitting and making business decisions. And Mike Locksley really will see this game avalanche possibly and get out of control. Now, personally, you got to start fast. If you get the ball, you got to score a touchdown. You got to get points. If some type of points. We'll take anything at this point. Something to get a positive start. Because you don't want to be goofy and give away a potential field goal when you could have had it. But if they get the ball, USC, which I can see them getting the ball first, you got to stop them. 3-and-out would be great. But you want to start fast. You can't start lethargic, unenergetic. This is homecoming. This is do or die. This is your Big Ten championship. This is your biggest game of the season. At home, USC coming west to east in your house for homecoming. You see some of the standouts there. Ty Felton, 55 receptions, 719 yards, 5 touchdowns. The level of competition has upped over the past few weeks. And teams are not letting Ty Felton beat them. They're not letting Prather beat them either. They're really not letting the Terps throw the ball down the field. They're playing physical, tight, man-to-man coverage. They are jamming guys at the line of scrimmage. They're bringing a lot of pressure because the offensive line of the Terps is horrendous, maybe one of the worst in the nation. And they're getting after Billy Edwards. He has no time to throw, no time to set his feet. They can't run the ball because they can't get any push on the offensive line. And really, it creates 3rd and long. So if you want to start fast, avoid 3rd and long. I think also with an explosive offense potential like USC, because I think they're going to try to bounce back because this is their season too. If they go to 3-4, 1-4 in conference, they're done. They may have a hard time trying to be bowl eligible. You know what I mean? But I think start fast, avoid 3rd and long, no turnovers, win time of possession, and you got to find a way to get some turnovers again on defense. I know last time you got turnovers against Indiana didn't result in any points. Nothing really shot off or launched from there. So I'm looking at a situation where you got to start fast. You can't get down 14, 17, nothing, 14-3. You don't want to be down big. You got to avoid 3rd and long. You got to get off the field on 3rd down. Let me add that. Limit the big plays. Let me add that in there because we know USC is going to have a few of them. Tackle well. Limit your penalties. We know the discipline of Maryland has been something that has been an eyesore many, many years. Just limit your penalties. Can you have less penalties than USC? Let's just ask for that. That's 6 keys right there. Need I say more? Score touchdowns in the red zone. Make them one-dimensional. Like I said, a lot of keys we can go with this. I don't like Maryland's chances. Could Maryland win? Of course. It's football. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday or Sunday. And in college football this season, we've definitely seen that. And I am not doubting that the Terps will probably try to play this game with some type of energy. I think they will come out with more energy than they came out with last week. And now, yes, that is a very low bar. But I think if they can start fast, they can make this an entertaining game. Maybe more like the Ohio State or the Michigan game last year, Penn State even. Some of those games early where they're in it. But they got to play 4 quarters. You can't play 1 quarter and then fall off the wagon or play 2 horrible quarters and try to come back in the second half. I think USC is still a solid team. They don't have the talent that they used to have, but I think they have a quarterback. They have a running back that is a home run hitter potentially. And while they have some vulnerabilities defensively, you have to take advantage of it. Ty Felton, Prather, Hemby, Bray, McDonald, Edwards even. We need a spark offensively. Mike Locksley, if you're going to be calling the plays again, you might as well call the plays. We need a spark offensively. What are we going to do from a play calling perspective? What are we going to do from a playmaker perspective? Who's going to step up and make that play to galvanize this offense, galvanize this crowd, galvanize this team, and give them something? Is it Ty Felton for 30 yards? Is it Prather for a long touchdown? Is it a run for Hemby to get the drive going right away? Like I said, I would love to see them win time of possession, maybe run for 200 yards close to it, if they could dominate the line of scrimmage. But I just think USC's offensive and defensive lines are going to dominate the Terps' offensive and defensive lines. They're going to not get a lot of pressure. Miller Moss is going to have a lot of time to throw. They're going to have a hard time, I think, stopping marks eventually throughout the course of the game. And I think one of these receivers, is it Hudson or somebody we're not talking about? Does he make a big play over our head because of a terrible decision defensively with a lack of pass rush and a young group of secondary players? I don't know. I feel like Billy Edwards, if they're going to win this game, like I said, if they're going to win this game, they got to start fast. That's the number one key. They got to start fast. At the end of the first quarter, they got to be either winning or tied. They can't be losing because then you're going to pack it in and think, oh, we can't beat this team. Because you're not as talented as them. You're not as well coached as them. You don't have the resources they have. You're already playing really with one hand tied behind your back. Your coach hasn't progressed. He's regressed. Winless off of a bye. The offense looks lethargic. The offensive line is terrible. But like I said, starting fast, win a line of scrimmage, and not beat yourself. Those are the 3 things I'm going to say. And then you can throw in there, tackle well, limit the big plays, maybe get a turnover. But if you can win time of possession, then if you do win time of possession, that lets me know they are winning the line of scrimmage, especially offensively. They can win time of possession, limit the opportunities of an explosive USC offense. Because even with the lack of weapons, they still put up 30 on Penn State. The Terps need a game like they have Minnesota, 24-17. If the Terps can keep them, I'll say under 20 points or under, they'll be in this game. Now, will they win it? I don't know, because I don't trust the special. Outside of our punter from Maryland, I don't trust the special teams. The kick returners, they did terrible last week. How many mistakes was it in special teams? The field goal kickers missing things. They haven't had a stable kicker since Chad Ryland went to the NFL. So those are things that I'm looking forward to. It's a 4 o'clock start. I like the 4 o'clock starts. Kind of loves me to get the day going and then settle in. I think USC does cover. I think Maryland puts up a fight, but USC pulls away in the second half. And I think it's an over game. I see USC 35. Maryland 27. I'm going to say 35-27. That's an 8-point win. They cover. It's over. Now, does Maryland score 27? Do I have enough confidence that with this offensive line and the play calling that they made, that they can score 27 points against USC? The toughest game so far in their season? I don't. Because we saw them wet the bid against Michigan State. They woke up in the second half against Virginia. They played pretty well against Villanova, obviously. They got 4 turnovers, couldn't score against Indiana. Northwestern came in here, punched them in the mouth, and pulled their pants down. And pretty much treated them and beat them like they stole something. And really, unfortunately, on Friday night, we saw people leaving. We saw people upset and calling for Locksley's job, as they should. And honestly, it just made you want to grab the belt, because that's what happened to the Terps, and whoop somebody's ass because they needed it. Yep. But like I said, I'm not firing Locksley. I'm keeping him through next year. I'm letting him roll through. I'm hoping year 7 is lucky, because I think if you do replace him, I don't know if there's going to be a guy that's going to be a major upgrade, in my opinion, available right now. Now, Urban Meyer, no. Even though I wish that could happen, sure. But I don't see that happening. I think what the Terps need to do is go out and get an offensive coordinator, like we saw with USC. No, like we've seen with Penn State. We saw it against USC, but Penn State went and got the offensive coordinator from Kansas, and look what he's done for that offense. They need a guy like that, a young, innovative offensive mind that can develop, mold your quarterback, young quarterback, put a friendly system around him that can move the ball, have some balance because you can run the ball, and be creative. Use some option with Billy Edwards. Use some RPO. Use some screens. Use some opportunities to move Felton and Prather around. Use different formations. Put them in the same formation. Bunch them together. Use your tight ends. Be creative. Throw different things out at teams. So that's what I want to see from the Maryland Terps. Like I said, I'm going with USC to win 35-27. I would love to be wrong and Maryland to win 27-24, 31-29. Something like that would be nice and refreshing to see, because outside of the Rutgers game coming up, who is Maryland beating? And you look at the Big Ten, Indiana, Oregon, Penn State, they're your top three dogs. Got Illinois right behind them, Ohio State right behind them after that big game this week, Nebraska. So it is a cluster, Franklin, and Maryland is right at the bottom with who we got, Purdue and UCLA. And USC is right above Maryland. So USC has to win the game, get to 2-3 in the conference. Maybe they can try to get up there where they beat Wisconsin. They lost to Minnesota, so maybe they can get somehow middle of the pack. Maryland still has to play Iowa, as we know. Whew. Penn State still have to go to Oregon. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like I said, the only team that Maryland is probably legit better than is USC and Purdue, but they could lose to them if they play one of them. And I don't really have much confidence against Rutgers. I know Rutgers' offense has struggled as of late, but they could wake up as soon as they see Maryland and step on the field at College Park. But we'll see. We'll let it play out. We'll see what happens. And I hope that Maryland wins. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope these pundits and analysts who are drinking that red Kool-Aid are able to spread the power of positivity down in College Park this week. And I hope that they can will the Terps on to victory. But I'm going with the USC Trojans. I circled this game when I saw this homecoming before the season came out. I said they're going to get beat type of thing. While I think they will be competitive, I think USC pulled away late. I'm going USC 35, Maryland 27. You'll get my recap and thoughts afterwards. As always, the Flex Zone Podcast, your home for Maryland Terps content. Go ahead, sack that subscribe button, hit that like button, bulldoze that bell, sign up in the comment section, give me a prediction, keys to the game, players to watch. Maryland has to stop the run. They can't let USC just move up and down the field at will. They got to make them one-dimensional. If Miller Moss goes out and throws for 350 and 4 tubs, you shake his hand, tip your cap to him, and you congratulate him. But you're not going to let the team run up and down the field and gas you constantly, then they can throw the ball over you. I don't want to see that. But I'm hoping the Terps can get the win on this Saturday. Remember, it is a 4 p.m. start. We will be at home. It is homecoming. Big shout out to all of the alumni out there this weekend and all the individuals who will be attending the game. I have no problem with USC. I don't hate them. When the Terps have to go east to west, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on it. If you want more of my thoughts on what happened last week in that debacle of how Maryland just sucks right now. SOT. That's the term we're using. Same old Terps. Because no matter what you try to do, this team can't get it. But it's God's favorite host. Your source here. I'm here. Win, lose, or draw. All your Terps content. Basketball's coming up in about less than a month. We got about, 2.5 weeks? They hoping against Manhattan. So we'll be talking about basketball real soon. They had a scrimmage against Georgetown. Heard some good, heard some not so good, but we'll see. Let me know down below what you look forward to seeing. If you're going to homecoming, please stay careful. Let me know your thoughts, what you're getting into this weekend. Bowie, Howard, and College Park at University of Maryland, all celebrating homecoming. So congratulations to all of you, current and former students, alumni, faculty, staff, parents, whomever else, friends, loved ones, and loved ones here on the Flex Zone family. We love you, appreciate you. Y'all was giving me some issues last week with some lagging. This video should be a lot better. You should see me nice and clear. I'll be back later tonight. We're doing SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown, the debut of the Motor City Machine Guns, a new tag team coming to WWE. You know, got to see what they do in the bloodline. Don't forget that Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. They're the ones that acknowledge us. We out here. God's favorite host, USC over Maryland, 35-27. We'll see what happens. Maryland cannot lay a pterodactyl turpin-sized egg. Got to get the job done. Let's see what they do. If they put up or shut up, this is a circle of wagons thing. I'll see you guys later here on the Flex Zone Podcast. Peace.